Hi, how are you? So, I'm gonna start making some videos in English because somebody asked me to. But disclaimer, I'm not an English native speaker. It's gonna be pretty obvious, but just in case. And I'm gonna talk today about the planet in astrology, Uranus. I think it's the perfect idea to start by it when I'm doing this English version, because Uranus is the planet of what is outside of our comfort zone, outside of what we call home. It has a lot to do with, being in contact with people from another cultures, because it speaks about difference, and it speaks also about novelty, about being different, about breaking the norm, about freedom, detachment, all of these things are related with Uranus in astrology. What I want to talk about today is how the planet presents itself in relationships. So, from our point of view, my point of view, planets that go beyond Saturn have this tendency to be too strong for our consciousness. Why? Because they are really far away from our comfort zone. So all of these things that I just described are qualities that clash a little bit with what it means to be human. Because being human means needing safety, it means emotional dependency, it means, being part of something, being part of a culture, being part of a group. All of those things are part of being human. So Uranus represents everything that kind of breaks out of it, right? Breaks out of our comfort zone, breaks out of our emotional attachment, and that makes it hard for us to experience in a healthy way. So it tends to represent itself in reality in polarities. So one part of the relationship plays one polarity and the other one plays the other, kind of trying, to both unconsciously trying to integrate the other into themselves. Right? So they feel drawn to each other, but that doesn't mean it's not painful, because, they are in extremes, in very extreme positions one from another. So that makes it harder for them to understand each other, but they feel magnetically pulled to each other because of it. So how does that present itself in a relationship? One side of it, it's gonna be your typical afraid of commitment. I want my space, I want my freedom. I am the way I am. If you don't like it, then fuck you, kind of person. And why? Why are they doing that? Because they are afraid of attachment. They are afraid of their own emotions. They are afraid of being tied down, because in their consciousness, that will mean losing their freedom, losing, their ability to go whatever the fuck they want, because if you care about somebody else, you're gonna care about that person. You're gonna worry about them. You're gonna don't want to lose them. So that will limit you. But what is the real issue beneath, that exterior nonchalant attitude? Is that person feels attracted to somebody who does value intimacy and safety, and creates this home kind of feeling, because they want that too. but they deny that and they project that into the other person. So that makes them be magnetically pulled towards that, but creates a lot of problems at the same time, right? Because that division that they still have inside themselves presents itself in reality, right? So what happens in the other side of this? So the other side of this is your typical, motherly, loving, tender kind of person, right? Who wants closeness and wants intimacy, wants to feel dependable and be with someone who's dependable, but they feel attracted to people they are not emotionally there, that they get ghosted by, they're afraid of commitment, they're, when things get too serious or too emotional, want to run the fuck away. Why that happens to those people? It's not because, I don't think that it is because they have issues and, this kind of simplistic version of it. No, it's because they also want and need freedom, personal space, independence, being able to prioritize themselves, right? Having space to be themselves, having friends, having other things to do besides focusing all day in another human being, right? They also want that, but they deny that and project that into the other person, right? And then they feel magnetically pulled towards them. So you can see that the root issue in all polarities is that we deny the other polarity in ourselves. So we attract it on the outside, right? We magnetically feel drawn to someone who plays them because we are trying unconsciously to be whole again. So it's not a problem that you need to medicate against or that you need, someone to give you the tools to get away from. What you need to do is realize that that person that you have in front of you is helping you realize that that is also important to you. That doesn't mean that, it's that simple. It's not simple, okay? Because a relationship is two people making something work, If I, whatever the side I'm in, want to, be able to integrate these other characteristics to me. So I say, okay, so I'm this guy who's afraid of commitment. Maybe, I'm actually afraid of my own feelings because, I deep down feel like if I feel something, I'm never gonna leave. Like that's what's actually behind my conscious attitude, right? I'm afraid of how much I'm gonna feel. But if the other person doesn't do the same and is not able to say, okay, maybe I choose someone who ghosts me because I need to spend more time alone, because I don't want to be all day with these people. I don't. I want to do other things, and that's valid. I don't need to be all day, all time with you. Like, nobody wants that, right? Because it's human. We all need intimacy and certainty in our relationships and commitment to some degree, even if it's to what we agree on, right? And at the same time, we all need freedom. We all need to have other things in our life. We all need to have our own space. It's not a problem. We can have both. That is like the root issue of everything. Actually, is that our consciousness divides things that can, and actually in reality coexist, but we don't think they can coexist, right? So I make this way too long, but this is how it presents itself in relationships. So the more we integrate a little bit of the other side, which doesn't mean I'm gonna become the other side, no, because it's just how much of it can I integrate into me to feel more whole, right? But I'm not going to stop being that person. I'm not going to stop being someone who needs freedom, maybe more than other people. But, I can make a concession with myself. It's not only to the other person, it's something I also want and need, right? So it doesn't present so extreme in reality in the other person, right? Maybe not with the person I'm in right now, maybe with the next one, right? But that's it. I hope this was helpful, that you were able to understand something of what I said. Bye.